Today I have the Perdomo Reserve, Limited Reserve Champagne Noir. This is the dark brother of the Champagne. Pretty much it's the same blend. They just added a triple fermented Cuban Seed Maduro wrapper. It gives it a little bit of sweetness. Well, quite a bit of sweetness. I've had these before. This is one of my favorite cigars. Not just of Perdomo, but of any cigar. Medium to full body. Here's the binder. Very beautiful. As you can see, it's embossed. It's nice and it sticks out. Black, gold, and champagne color. This is Perdomo Reserve, limited in the middle. Champagne Noir. Noir because it's Maduro, so it's a darker wrapper. This is a 6x60, super Toro size. See, gives off lots of thick smoke. It's very smooth. It's exquisitely smooth. This is probably the 4th or 5th I've had. This is the best start to any of the ones I've had. I can tell you that right away. Probably because this one's been in my box a lot longer than the other ones. I haven't smoked one of these in like a month. So this one's been in my box for well over 2 months. Just aging nicely and developing the flavors. This came out in 2011. And it came out a little bit after the Champagne. Well, actually no, I think the Champagne came out like a long time ago. And so people were asking for the same blend, but it was so good they wanted to try, you know, with maybe how a Maduro wrapper would taste. So pretty much it's the same blend as the Champagne, but with a Maduro wrapper. Triple fermented, aged in bourbon barrels, like their 20th anniversary series. And that gives it a really nice dry sweetness. What you get right away. Wow, that's very nice. It's exceptionally smooth. It is very smooth. Mouth-filling, smooth, thick smoke. There's black pepper in it for sure. It's not overwhelming, it's not a lot, but there's black pepper. I'm getting a zing right now on the tongue. It's still there, it lingers. I'm getting like a nice dry sweetness that I've picked up in all the other ones I had, but now, you know, now that I'm focusing on the flavors for the review, I can really, has a nice dry sweetness. And that black pepper, they go well together. This reminds me of the Gran Cru Corojo. It has a little bit of and the Maduro of the 20th anniversary. It has a bit of a dark coffee. Maybe not as strong as espresso, but definitely some nice dark coffee with a dry chocolate. Closer to milk chocolate than dark chocolate. It's sweet. It's not bitter. Right now it's nice and medium body. Lit it with matches. I took advantage. It's not windy today. So I lit it the best way you could, is toasting it nice and slow with matches, wooden matches. So you guys can see the ring gauge. That's a 60 for you. Very thick. It used to be that 50 ring gauge was considered thick a decade or two ago. Now this is the new thing. Now they went from 50 to 60 gauge. And it changes the blend, it changes the flavors completely. It's the same blend, but since the proportions of the wrapper to the filler are completely different from a 50 gauge to a 60, you're having the same cigar, the same blend, but the gauge will change the flavor ratios. This cigar in a Churchill will taste pretty different. So it's good to try the whole range of sizes for each blend from any company. That's good to do. If you like one, or if you don't like one particular size, try a different size. It might change the blend, especially the ring gauge. The length won't change anything. It'll just change the length, the smoke time. But the actual gauge, the proportion from the wrapper to the binder, when you get a thicker gauge, you get more wrapper to the filler. So the wrapper is more pronounced. So when you get a thicker gauge with this one, since the wrapper is the predominant leaf, since it's pretty much the champagne, but with the addition of the different wrapper, the thicker it is, the more you can taste the actual wrapper notes. And I have had the Churchill version, and I have one more left in my box that I've had for 3 months. It is perfect. Can't wait to smoke that one. I'll be doing a review to show exactly what the differences are in the ring gauges. Because that, I believe, is a 54. It's a 7x54, where this is a 6x60. And I know that there are differences. I know, for example, that the sweetness, that the thicker gauge, this 60, is quite a bit sweeter. Where the other one, you can taste the pepper a little bit more, and more smoky and earthy in the Churchill size. Where this one has a nicer, not nicer, I like them both. If anything, I prefer this one over the Churchill. I still love the Churchill, but this is my favorite size for this particular blend. For most Perdomos, I like the thicker gauges, because they make such excellent wrappers. Well, all the leaves they make are excellent, but their wrappers are just, I mean, they stand out in quality. It's still nice and smooth. I know it's going to stay smooth because this is about my 4th or 5th one, but so far it's not very nice and smooth. Here's the burn line. If you see it wavers a bit, it's my fault. Again, it's kind of tricky lighting it using matches. I'm still trying to get the hang of it. I've only been using matches, like really trying to use only matches for like the last month. Trying to get better at it, but the flame is so sporadic. It gets up, then it dies, then it dies out completely. Then you have to light a new match, and then by the time you light the new match, the small embers you had lit die off. So it's hard to get an even burn. If you're in a closed room, it's perfect. It's the best way. If you're outdoors, even with no wind, it's still tricky. The flames will flicker and die off on you, and they'll go up and then they'll go down, but it's worth it. Because that way you can taste the true flavor. Because even the butane is tasteless. So yes, it is a good way to light the cigar, but it's hard not to scorch the cigar. It's hard not to burn it. You never want to scorch the wrapper. You don't want to put the flame directly to it. And since the blue flame is a lot hotter than the yellow flame, it's a lot easier to bludgeon the leaves and to just make it harsh by just like burning it so quickly and with so much heat. It'll change the flavor. That's why when you have your lighter, if you're using your butane with the blue flame, where you see the flame die off, it actually extends a little bit longer. It's invisible. So you don't have to put it, right to where the tip you think it is. You pull it away a bit, and you toast it, you rotate it nice and slow. Because if you put the flame there, I mean, there's like another centimeter or two that's invisible that you can't see. So if you put it that close, it'll just destroy it. It'll just burn it and forget about it. Don't ever try that. So next time you do it, if you use your butane lighter and you see that, just common sense, just pull it away a bit. Even with yellow flame. With normal flames, you can get away putting it closer since it's not as hot, but you should still try to keep it away a bit. But definitely wooden matches, in particular cedar matches, are the best to light your cigar. Anyone who knows about cigars, any aficionado will tell you that. Now, about the wrapper. It's not particularly oily. It's a bit oily. It's kind of hard to see. This is my first night video, so the lights kind of make it harder for you guys to see. But it smells like nice chocolate. The wrapper itself has a hint dry chocolate smell. So does the foot. The foot smells more like a nice tobacco. It kind of hints towards, it foreshadows the chocolate and it foreshadows the earthiness and the toastiness. It's a very nice smell before you light it. Now, when you light the cigar, it's going to smell physically completely off from when it's unlit. So don't try to smell it after because it's not going to smell so great. So try to smell it before you light it. That way you won't think it smells bad. My puncher today, it's a pretty huge puncher I have on my Prometheus lighter. Yeah, you guys probably can't see it, but it is huge. If you put that on a 50 gauge, it'll destroy it. This punch is made for really thick ring gauges. I wanted the review on lighters too. I like the lighters too. I love the whole thing of cigars. I like the lighters, the cutters. I wanted the reviews on that. So I have a Prometheus Magma Tea lighter. Prometheus also makes cigars. God of Fire. Well, they don't make them, but Arturo Fuente makes them for him. And if you've ever had a Arturo Fuente Don Carlos, the God of Fire cigars are pretty much the same thing, twice the price. Now, they look very nice. They have a beautiful band, beautiful presentation. But if you want to save money and have pretty much the same cigar, there are slight differences. There are nuances that, you know, if you've had a lot in your experience, you will pick up the slight differences. But it's pretty much a Don Carlos by Arturo Fuente. I mean, it's made by the same guy, and it even says on the box. You know, they have like a Don Carlos line, Carlito. They're very delicious, but they come about to $22 to $25 a stick. A box will cost you in the 200s for 10. So they're quite expensive. Now, if you can afford it, go right ahead because they're exquisite cigars. So this wrapper has pretty much no tooth. It's very smooth. It's satiny. It's like cashmere, like silk. Very smooth. It is double cap. Very nicely placed. I've never had them rip off or anything or come off on a Perdomo. Very smooth wrapper. It's a little bit veiny. You know, it's not going to be perfect. I mean, that doesn't affect anything. Doesn't affect the quality, the taste, the burn, anything. It's just purely aesthetic. The veins, whether they protrude or not, whether they're thick or bumpy, the tooth doesn't affect anything. If anything, I prefer them to be more, you know, to have more thickness, more tooth, because you know it's more rustic. It's more how cigars 100 years ago, they weren't all nice looking and perfectly straight and how you say in Spanish parejo or like parallel. They would be a little bit bent. There would be a lot of tooth. There would be a little bit of discoloration here. The veins would stick out. You know, it'd be a little rough. So it's nice and rustic when you see those cigars. Don't blow them off just because you think they're made bad. They're, you know, chances are they're made, you know, very well. They're just not. There was an effort put into making it aesthetically nice looking, but that doesn't mean it's a bad cigar. So don't let the look put you off. There are some things that you can look for that you know that'll tell you that if it's bad or not. You know, obviously, if there's any, you know, very strange discoloration, like you see there's a green splotches all over it. That's common in some cigars, like smaller ones. But if you see a lot, or maybe dots, like black dots or holes, then that could be an issue. But overall, if it's toothy, that's just purely aesthetic. The veins. Toothy means it has a bit of bumps, pretty much, in the wrapper that you feel and see. Little bumps. Usually you get that in cigars that have been tightly packed. This one's pretty firm, pretty tight, pretty hefty. These Perdomos with the thick ring gauges are nice and hefty. As you can see, I've been drawing too much, and it's still, you know, it's hard for the flame to die. This cigar, like most Perdomos, is pretty consistent. You get the same nice flavors throughout. You get the nice dark coffee. Not as strong as an espresso like you get in the Grand Cru or the 20th anniversary Maduro. But like a nice coffee. You get the nice flavor of the coffee. Think of a coffee before you put the sugar in it. I know some people don't like that, but think of not tasting it, but smelling it. Smelling the, you know, the coffee, the smell of the coffee wafting up your nose before you touch it. You know, you take a whiff out of it, and that delicious smell you get is the flavor you get out of this. So since that smoke goes in your mouth, you can actually taste it. So you get the nice dark coffee. You get a nice chocolate. You'll definitely pick up on the chocolate, even if you're not too experienced. You'll smell it in the wrapper and you'll taste it in the smoke. It's a nice dry sweetness that lingers throughout. It doesn't abate or get weaker. Usually throughout the whole cigar you'll get the same amount of nice flavor. It won't die down or anything. It's not only good in the first third. No, usually it's consistent in flavor and in strength of flavor. So yeah, I kind of messed up the burn. I'm going to try to fix it or something, because usually they fix themselves, but that's when you see things like that where it starts burning under, that's usually you should try to stop it from ruining it. Alright, I'll do a part 2.